So we've talked about the parents of Imam Abu Hanifah, and we've talked about how Imam Abu Hanifah dealt with money and dealt with his business. In this video, inshallah, we'll be talking about how Imam Abu Hanifah started on his path of knowledge. It's a really cool video. There's going to be a really amazing story in there and some really powerful sayings. I recommend you watch the entire thing, inshallah. Before the video begins, please don't forget to subscribe. There's going to be a red subscribe button below the video screen. Jazakumullah khair.
كتاب الله دستوري وخير الخلق أسوتنا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you're all doing well, inshallah. So the story of Imam Abu Hanifah and his pursuit of knowledge. This story actually starts where we left off in the last video, in the marketplace. One day, as Imam Abu Hanifah was in the marketplace, there was a great scholar, a great man by the name of Imam sha'bi, who saw An-Nu'man, who before he became Imam Abu Hanifah, he was known as An-Nu'man, and he told An-Nu'man to come to him, and he was asking him, who do you study under? Imam Abu Hanifah at this time was a very knowledgeable young man. He was a businessman, like we mentioned in the past, and he used to debate with people on politics and different ideas. So Imam sha'bi saw a lot of potential in this young man. He thought that for sure he must study somewhere. Nu'man said, I don't study under any scholars. I don't really study anything right now. Imam sha'bi told An-Nu'man, listen, go and study under the scholars. Learn your deen and do not live a life of heedlessness, because you are a young man who I see a lot of ambition in. I see you have a lot of potential. Do not waste your energy. Go out there and do something good for this community. So when Imam Abu Hanifah at this young age is hearing these words of encouragement from the greatest scholar of his time, he was inspired, he was encouraged to go and do some great things. So he went to Imam sha'bi and he said, okay, well, what is there to study? So Imam sha'bi said, you can study hadith. And Nu'man asked Imam Abu Hanifah, he said, what does a person who studies hadith do? And Imam sha'bi said, they scrutinize chains, they memorize the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they make sure that these chains are authentic and they share them with the people. And Imam Abu Hanifah wasn't very interested in that. He said, okay, what else is there? He said, there's tafsir, explaining the Quran, teaching people about the Quran, the lessons and the morals we can take from the verses that Allah Azza wa Jal sent down to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Imam Abu Hanifah asked, okay, what else is there? And he kept going on, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later on. He never got onto the topic of aqidah, of theology, and we're going to talk about that later because that's very important. So they went on until finally Imam sha'bi said, you can go into fiqh, Islamic jurisprudence. And Imam Abu Hanifah said, okay, what does that entail? He said, a faqih is someone who sits in the mosque, who goes out in the community, who interacts with the people, helps them with their problems. They interpret the Quran and the Sunnah to help facilitate people's lives. They show the people what right is and what wrong is. They make things easier for people. So Imam Abu Hanifah, already a young man who was a good people person, he was always interacting with people, helping people with their problems, debating with people. He liked the idea of being a faqih, someone who studies fiqh. So he went, and the love for this topic fell into his heart. And he went on to become a great faqih, someone who actually went and helped so many people. This is why he became the father of the first main school of thought, the Hanafi school of thought. It is because of this first conversation with Imam sha'bi which inspired Imam Abu Hanifah to take his Islamic knowledge and take it seriously and take it to that next level, inshallah. Just before I end the video, I want to talk about why Imam Abu Hanifah didn't want to study aqidah and become a scholar of aqidah. Not that he didn't want to study aqidah, no, but he didn't want to become a scholar of aqidah, and there's a reason for it. He said that whenever these scholars of aqidah, of theology, come together and debate each other, it seems like their only goal is to prove the other person wrong and make them out to be a non-Muslim. It seems like that's all they're trying to do. Whenever these people meet, these scholars of theology meet, they're debating with each other with the sole purpose of proving the other person wrong, proving the other person to be a non-Muslim. Imam Abu Hanifah said, I see no benefit in that. I don't see how that's going to benefit our society. And what he went on to say one day, something very powerful, subhanAllah. He said, "It is more beloved to me to make a mistake in accidentally calling 1,000 non-Muslims Muslims than to call one believer a non-Muslim." You know, subhanAllah, in today's day and age, we have people like ISIS, or the followers and supporters of ISIS. We have these young, overzealous Muslim youth who are taking their knowledge from the internet or taking their knowledge from some extreme source, who go around pointing their finger in every direction, and whenever they see someone doing something that they think is wrong, right away they go out and call that person a non-Muslim. This is not from their religion, and Imam Abu Hanifah made that very clear. So much so that he even didn't want to become a scholar of Aqidah. Even though Aqidah is a very important topic in our religion, he thought he would benefit society in another way. So I hope this video really benefited you. I hope we can all learn from this video and learn from the example of Imam Abu Hanifah, to learn that we have to be people that are very open-minded and tolerant, accepting of other people's beliefs, and also someone that learns how to spread Islam in a very kind and respectful way. Jazakumullah khair. I hope you like this video. We'll see you next week inshaAllah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.